Good morning, Business Alliance, Sonoma County. Really good to see everybody here. Thank you guys for finding your, as my second grade teacher would say, quiet place. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Ryan Kelly. I'm the president of your board of directors, and I'm thrilled to see all these people here this morning. It's going to be a really great show. Today we have some information being passed to us. I want to thank Eddie Cummins, General Manager of SMART, and Suzanne Smith, former Executive Director of the Sonoma County Transportation Authority, for being here with us today and donating their time. Let's give them a quick round of applause. Really interesting. They're going to be sharing important updates about the SMART mascot program. So it's not just about SMART, it's about a program of how it's going to connect transportation to the rest of the Bay Area in Sonoma County. So it's very cool. Before we dive into today's discussion, I want to highlight a couple quick things. First of all, Don Mills from Sound Ideas Media. We appreciate you always taking great video of these. Thank you. As a member, if you ever miss one of these meetings, you can always go online and watch the videos after the fact, which we're very grateful for. You guys, I mean, who doesn't love a good party? Right? We have a huge party coming up. It's called our 50th anniversary celebration. Here's the deal. This is the last time we're going to talk about it from the stage today. So if you have not purchased your tickets, today is the day. There's QR codes on your tabletops. We want you to buy tickets. We want to be able to know how many people are coming. Guys, we already have over 100 people coming. It's already going to be a great event. It's Thursday, November 6th. It's going to be at Sally Tomatoes. Let me cast a little bit of a vision for it, guys. It's a sit-down served dinner. It's going to be an awards banquet and show. There's going to be a live band. There's going to be a cocktail bar. It's going to be a very special evening to celebrate our 50th anniversary. You won't want to miss it, and we hope you guys will make it, because the more people, the merrier. I want to thank a few people for being great sponsors. Exchange Bank, WSI, Fidelity, Adobe and Associates, Samantha Paul, Friends of Smart, look at that, Christopherson Builders, Brian Lean, thank you Brian, past executive director, Sonoma Clean Power, United Cerebral Palsy of the North Bay, BL Glass, our favorite North Coast business exchange, and Midstate Construction. And we're going to be honoring some really influential people that have created what I would consider a very lasting impact on our communities. We're going to be celebrating Marlene Soyland, Ross Liscombe, Dick Dowd, Scott Kincaid, Mick Menendez, Dennis Harder, Kimberly Waite, and Kathy Goodacre. Let's give them a round of applause. All right, but we really do need to get our final numbers in. If you think you might make it, buy your tickets today. Scan that QR code. And with all that being said, I want to pass the mic over to our Executive Director, Ty Mooney.
Miss TV walking. There we go. All right. Good morning. Today was one of those mornings where you just kind of wanted to stay at home, and so I thought, I'm going to indulge me here, a little exercise. I'm going to ask if you have been a member of the Alliance for 5 years or more to stand up. 5 years or more, stand up. That's pretty good. All right. How about stay standing? We're going to play that game. Stay standing 10 years or more. 10 years or more. 15 years or more. 20 years or more. I was thinking to myself in the car today how long this would go. 30 years or more was what I thought. 30 years or more. Woo! All right. All right, you can sit down, guys. I want to, oh, should we keep going? 25 years? Do we have 20, or wait, we're at 35. 35? 35? 35, 40? All 50? Nick, are you claiming all 50? Pretty close? No. Wow. That's amazing. Thank you guys. I want to say, yes, thank you. of this collaborative organization that pushes amazing work forward, and I applaud you, I thank you, I commend you, and I'm so looking forward to the next 50. This 50th anniversary isn't just about celebrating our award recipients and the organization, but it's really about celebrating all of the individuals who collaboratively work to make this happen. So thank you all, and if you're not a member, consider joining this group. Some people have been here that long, that's quite an endorsement. All right, and with that, if you really want to get involved in the Alliance, we are getting ready to release board applications. So if you are interested in learning more about what it would mean to be a part of the leadership of this organization, I encourage you to come and ask. If you think, oh, maybe I have the time, maybe I don't, all we need is your time, your energy, your passion, and we'll make everything else work. So come see me after. I'd love to talk with you about that opportunity ahead, because we have people sitting here that long. How many, can my board stand up real quick? Can we have our board stand up? Thank you, board. Thank you for those awesome people, so please do consider it. And with that, I also want to say our history is rooted in a lot of different projects, but one of our big projects has always been in transportation. One of our recipients of an award at the 50th is Dennis Harder, who really put his hat in that ring for the Alliance for many years. That hat has been passed to Mark Soyland, who is now running our very active transportation committee with a co-chair, I like to say, Danny Sheehan, so thank you, Danny, for that word. We have participated in the widening of the 101, the expansion of the airport. There has been work with the airport on the getting Southwest Airlines most recently, and of course endorsing the SMART every time it comes to our stage. So if you're interested in that, our transportation committee is willing to take new members. So reach out to Danny. I don't know if Mark's free today, so reach out to Danny. She's right over here. All right. And then with all that being said, Ryan talked about our 50th. It's up and coming November 6th. You get the opportunity to see us twice that week, because we do have our city managers coming to join us on the 5th. So expect to see a longer program, probably go until 9:30, as we try to get all 9 city managers to the stage to talk to you about what's happening in Sonoma County at large. And then join us for a cocktail the next day on the 6th of November. All right, and we have a program sponsor today. So before we get to self-introductions, I want to bring up Michelle Geary from Boys and Girls Club and offer a big thank you to La Franca Architecture and Development for actually sponsoring the program and donating it to Boys and Girls Club. So can we get a round of applause for Michelle?
Good morning. It is so nice to see y'all, and special thank you to my friends Ken LaFranchi for always giving us the opportunity to tell you about our work. If you don't know, Ken served on our board for a very long time, and that is where I got to learn about his talent in the game of dodgeball. So if you ever have opportunity, I encourage you to challenge him. You probably won't win. He's very competitive. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we get to serve 10,000 kids across Sonoma County every year, and we do that at 35 clubs before school, after school, and summer camp programs in over 10 communities. And I'll tell you a little bit about the kids that we serve. You've heard from Dr. Carter and other community members that our kids in Sonoma County are facing a real tough run. Most of them in our community can't read. By the time they hit middle school, they're anxious, they're depressed. They are thinking about taking their own lives, and we're seeing huge spikes in teen suicide across the country and in our local community. And what's interesting is by the time kids are in high school, 55% of teenagers up into their early 20s are unemployed. So they may be in school, they might not be in school, but they're not doing much. And what you all know, same as me, as we feel good when we're contributing and when we're productive. And so at Boys and Girls Clubs, we're really thinking about how do we help these young people find good work and the skills that they need to contribute to our community through their work. And we're doing that in a couple ways. Sorry, my slides are a little bit out of order. On your table, there is a picture of what is called our Great Futures Pathway. And here's what I'll tell you about it. We want to work with kids in 3 primary ways. And our objective over the next number of years is we want kids to start smart. We want every single one of our club members to be able to read by the time they're in the 3rd grade. We, as kids age, we want them to grow strong. We want them to develop the skills that they need to be resilient, to face hardship and challenges, and to manage the stress that they will face in their everyday lives. Stresses that we all face and handle every single day. We want kids to be able to do that. And most importantly, we want to get them future ready. We want them to graduate high school with a plan for their future, whether that's college, the trades, or really meaningful, gainful employment. We want them to earn credentials and job experiences while they're in high school so that they can enter our workforce in Sonoma County and contribute. Here's what I can tell you about that, is all of that will lead to confidence and purpose, but there's more than that. That will help our young people lift themselves up. Because at Boys and Girls Club, what we dream of more than anything is a Sonoma County where no kid lives in poverty. That's a big dream, and it will take all of us. And so my ask of you today is to join us. If you are passionate about sitting with a young person and helping them read, we'd love you to do that. If you're passionate about mentoring a teenager in your company or in your day-to-day, we'd love for you to do that. And on the back of that flyer at your table is a little bit more about our impact and where we're trying to go over the next couple of years, and we would love to have you join us. We'll be at the table outside, so please come and chat with me if this is of interest, and I really appreciate your commitment to our community and most importantly to our kids. Thank you.
All right. We have some pop-up sponsors today. So as we come around on self-introductions, we're going to have 2 people that are going to get a minute to tell us about something they're working on. So if they're at your table, Peter and Jack, can you stand up real quick so people know where you are? Oh, perfect. So this table, when it gets to them, feel free to sit down. You don't have to stand for 2 minutes as they do their spiel. But we'll start over here at this table. Steve, can you kick us off?
Steve Burwell with Friends of Smart.
Hey, I'm Ricky Ramos with the Boys and Girls Club.
I'm Sarah Ramos, also with Boys and Girls Clubs.
John Rudolph from PCD.
Danny Sheehan with the Friends of Smart.
Ken Frankie from the Frankie Architecture Development. I have a few guests this morning. First of all is Lori Thielen, who's our office manager and property manager of anything over. And then you just heard from Michelle Gary, the COO of the Boys and Girls Club, and also 2 Ramuses who are not married. I just want you to know that. Thank you.
Introduce my guest, my husband, Fred Knapp.
All right, and if you're a guest, please give me your business card. We have some beer that we're giving away.
Good morning, your current chair president, Ryan Kelly from WSI, and I have a friend with me here, Miles Hickner from Signal Signs and Graphics. We also have our speakers, there you go. We also have our speakers, Suzanne and Eddie, that will be speaking.
Danny Rossetti in the Growth Smart Initiative. Scott Lawrence, Sonoma Clean Power and Regular Smart Rider.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Molly Curley O'Brien. I'm a Senior Community Resilience Planner at WRA. We've been providing environmental consulting services to the North Bay for 40 years. I have a guest, Leslie Allen, who's been working with SMART and dedicating her career to public infrastructure agencies and entities, and been working with SMART for the last 15 years.
Good morning, Melissa Galliani, Wine Country Radio and Digital.
Good morning, Sherry Granzano, Citos Latino, The Crush, and Bob.
Good morning, Jen Bolch from EXP Realty.
All right, we're going to go around the table.
Yes.
Good morning, I'm Jen Del Rosario. I'm from Sonoma County Office of Education and working on the initiative Schools Rule Sonoma County.
Good morning, I'm Adriana Dupree, Career Technical Education Foundation of Sonoma County.
Good morning, Eli Weinsweg, ED of the Career Technical Education Foundation of Sonoma County.
Good morning, I'm Ryan Long, Connected Outreach, we're a public relations consultancy and vice chair of the Patati Clinic.
I'm Joe Gapp, you know, St. Vincent Paul.
Good morning, Sheriff Eddie Ingram.
Good morning, I'm Diva Marie Proto, Sonoma County Clerk, Recorder, Assessor, and no longer the Registrar of Voters. But I do have our new Registrar of Voters, Evelyn Mendez.
Good morning, Pete Lescure here, Principal of Lescure Engineers. I have some exciting news to announce. Lescure Engineers has been acquired by Zenitech, which is a national firm with international reach. They've been developing software systems for about 30 years, and they decided to take their software experience and artificial intelligence into drones. So one of the, we'll be a division of Zenitech Drones as a Service, and that will expand our reach in topographic mapping, asset management and monitoring, including pipelines, bridges. I think PG&E's already doing their own power lines. I doubt that we can go anywhere there. But other assets, roads and factories, and they have a line of drones that the smallest one will wander around warehouses and read RFID tags and QR codes and such things as that. The middle brand will do land surveys and monitoring bridges and assets and pipelines and such as that. And then they got the huge one that carry tools, as you could map vineyards and spray vineyards and all that sort of thing. So I'm looking forward to expanding our services to that, and there we are. And so I have I'll be sticking around to manage the operation. And so lastly, I'd like to thank this organization for allowing the networking opportunities, and this table here especially, who kept it alive for so many years. And going back a little further, I remember when I first landed here in '79, Milt Grant was all over the newspapers at the time. Can't forget that name. And so Milt has passed away in 2003, as I recall. And thanks to him for initiating this organization, and Warm Springs Dan, and you guys for sustaining it. Appreciate that. I'd also like to thank Paul Yeomans for inviting Jack Byrne as a guest, because Jack has been a tremendous asset in getting this acquisition done. Oh my God. And so it's, especially, it's not just like, you're acquired by some local firm, you're dealing with an national firm. And so there's lots of outreach and work to be done. So thank you, Jack.
I'm Jack Byrne. I just signed up in case Pete went over and I wanted to pay for his extra time. I also want to thank Paul, because Paul invited me to the Sonoma County Alliance, and it was a great experience. I got to meet Pete. After all my years as a CEO, I really enjoy helping leaders of businesses and whatever role that might be in, board advisor or whatever. So it was exciting, and Pete, congratulations on selling your company. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, it's being recorded, guys, don't you worry.
Paul Yeomans, Exchange Bank, past president.
Kevin Flaherty with Keegan Cook.
Kim O'Day with Fidelity National Account.
Rob Sanville with KLH Consulting, and I am a board member of this wonderful organization.
Fred Meyer, I'm a retired guest.
Sean Jean, Girl Jean Race Consulting Engineers, and I have a guest, my wife Pam Jean, retired, formerly of Sonoma Water.
Good morning, Tyson Robertson with Girl Jean Race as well.
And Rob is actually the band that will be playing at our anniversary,
There it is,
so
don't miss it.
don't miss the opportunity to see him play.
Good morning, Manjula Pereira with Aberlin Healthcare Marketing.
Christensen with Sonoma Clean Power.
Rick Carlisle, BKF Engineers.
Roy Martinez, Exit Strategies Group, and I want to mention my son took SMART this morning from Petaluma to Santa Rosa to go to school.
Jen Delaney, Leap Solutions, a division of George Peterson Insurance.
Greg Medici, Sonoma County Office of Education. Don Mills, Cuvera Brewery.
Justin Hunter, Holly Construction.
Sheila Russ on Fruit Park Industrial.
Good morning, Alliance members. Kristen Murray for Industrial Park and Nipple.
And if you have a business card in your guest, you're gonna try Don's beer. So, and another pitch for our board, we got musicians and brewers.
David Hagley, commercial real estate lender at Summit State Bank, and council member at the next stop for the SMART train, the city of Healdsburg.
Chuck McPherson, Leap Solutions.
Kevin Jones, Fast Signs at Santa Rosa and United Way of Wayne Country Community Board.
Tony Spisman, 707 Promotions.
Hi, Lisa Carreño, United Way of the Wine Country. I have a guest, City Council Member Andres Marquez from the City of Cloverdale, so thank you for coming down so early in the morning.
Good morning, Andre Moran with Brelgene Race Consulting Engineers and the Community Board of United Way.
David De Los Santos with GLCD Architecture.
I don't know if I'm the thorn with the roses or the roses and the thorn, whatever. I'm the token female at this table. Thank you. Tony Tisconi, Tisconi Event Management Solutions.
Howard Dalton, lots of things.
Arnie Dexter, Leduc Dexter, and Super Service Plumbing.
Good morning. Dick Dowd, past president of the Alliance and current co-chair of the Alliance's Water Supply Committee.
Good morning. Greg Hurd with BKF Engineers.
Brian Ling, real estate broker and appraiser and the treasurer of SCA.
Good morning. Mick Menendez, Pacific Advisors, past president, co-chair of Education Committee. And just as a reminder, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So be sensitive to those needs that people have in our community. Support the YWCA.
Good morning, Kevin Bender, Exchange Bank.
And Ernest Berghoff, broker and CEO at Berghoff Realty.
Lisa Ricky Schaffner for my friend Ryan, North Coast Builders Exchange. And I have a guest today, Troy Naide from Press Onward. Check in with Troy if you want to talk about local media.
Hello, Mark Stapp, Sonoma State University and Santa Rosa City Council.
Marlene, Soyland Management. I want to note there's a speaker in the back of the room we can actually hear. Next there'll be a TV. Ooh, my ears.
Mark Nelson, State Construction. Good morning, David Brown, Adobe Associates, Civil Engineers and Land Sprayers.
Good morning, Lori Rooney, North Bay Biz Magazine.
Rosie Padilla, North Bay Biz Magazine.
Good morning, Marcella Piedra with the City of Lorna Park.
Kathy Goodacre, Consultant, Advisor, and Leadership Coach.
Good morning, Jim Wallen, Pelka Housing. I have a guest, Chad Hedge. He is the volunteer director of the upcoming Tunnel to Towers Foundation 5K race here in San
Bill Bolster, Electro-Optical Components.
Jamie Agathan with Sonoma Clean Power.
Jason Lee with Roseland School District and also a board member and the bald co-chair of the Education Committee. Even though we have to have one bald guy on every committee. That's why we pick.
Nice.
Stephen Jackson, retired educator.
Mike Pickens, District Director of the Operating Engineers and Committee Member for the SMART Initiative.
Carl Service to LCD Architecture.
Kevin Zuko, the CFA Structural Engineer.
All right.
Mark Gale, Carlisle Lacy.
Steve Flick, Power Associates, and President of the Board of Sonoma County Fire District.
Good morning, I'm Paul Vance. I'm the current mayor of Cloverdale, hopefully the next stop of the smart train. I'm also a candidate for Sonoma County Supervisor, District 4.
Hi, I'm Jen Reza, I'm Strategy Manager.
Kyle Betancourt, CFA Structural Engineers.
And Marcel, Chief Financial Advisor with the Round Barn Group at Morgan Stanley.
Gary Lentz, Loan Depot Home Mortgage.
And Kate Kelly, Sonoma Clean Power.
All right, we are going to pull a winner, so if there's any last minute business cards you want to put in here. Which beer is it though?
That's a variety pack with a wheat beer.
Ooh, wheat beer, guys. All right, no one's even gonna lie and say they're good.
Very light beer.
All right, you want to pull this card here?
Yeah.
All right. Troy, you are the winner of the beer.
All right, we've got some great introductions and some long bios to read. All right, we're going to start with Eddie here. All right. Eddie Cummins is the general manager of the Sonoma Marin Area Rail Transit District. As general manager, he is responsible for overseeing the day-to-day operations of SMART's transit and freight services. Eddie is also responsible for the planning, development, and construction of SMART's multi-use pathway network and rail extensions. Prior to joining SMART as general manager on November 29th of 2021, Eddie served as Chief Operating Officer for the Utah Transit Authority, the UTA. As UTA's Chief Operating Officer, he led 2,234 employees who provided commuter rail, light rail, fixed route bus, route deviation, paratransit, van pool, ride share, and coordinated mobility management services to 43 million riders annually. Now you know, I'm like, who is this quite the bio? He was also responsible for the agency's asset management program, maintenance of way, and transit police. His area of responsibility included 7 counties covering nearly 1,400 square miles with a population of almost 2.5 million residents. Prior to his role as UTA's Chief Operating Officer, Cummins was the Regional General Manager of UTA's Mount Ogden Business Unit. Eddie began his career at the UTA in 2011 after a distinguished 20-year military career in the United States Air Force. Thank you for your service. During his time in the Air Force, Eddie served in numerous capacities in the vehicle management field and 4 years as an Airman Leadership School Commandant. His assignments included bases in California, Alaska, Portugal, Utah, and Japan. Eddie earned a Master of Science degree in Organizational Leadership from Colorado State University and holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Human Resource Development from Southwestern College. Next up, we have Suzanne Smith. Suzanne is serving in a volunteer capacity as the chair of the SMART Initiative campaign. Suzanne served as the executive director of the Sonoma County Transportation Authority, the SCTA, from 1997 to 2023, and the Regional Climate Protection Authority, RCPA. You know, we love our acronyms, don't we? Since its creation in 2010. The SCTA is the countywide transportation agency responsible for coordinating regional, state, and federal funding and administering Measure M, the local quarter-cent sales tax. The focus of the RCPA is to coordinate local activities, secure grants, and strategically plan local efforts to reduce GHG emissions from all sectors. Prior to joining the SCTA, Suzanne was the district director for State Assembly member Valerie Brown. Following her retirement from her career in the public sector, Suzanne started a consulting business working on project delivery, policy, and strategy. Suzanne received her Bachelor of Arts degree in Political Science from the University of California at San Diego. Her Master's of Arts degree in Public Administration from the University of San Francisco. Her volunteer work in the community has included serving on the board of directors for the Redwood Empire Food Bank, the American Red Cross, and Leadership Santa Rosa, tomorrow's leaders today. Suzanne grew up in Santa Rosa. She still lives here with her husband, Tim, and their dog, Libby. Thank you guys very much for being here. And I don't know if one or both of you are coming up with somebody here.
All right, well, thank you very much. Really appreciate the opportunity to speak to this group. Just a couple of things that I wanted to cover today. I wanted to talk about some recent initiatives that we've implemented at SMART. Talk about our ridership recovery, because that's really been a big story and a big part of our effort over the years. And then talk about what's next, kind of what's in the pipeline. I do want to provide just a couple of slides on our mascots and that study, and let you know kind of what that is, what's in the pipeline, what's coming. I want to talk about some of the things that I see as SMART challenges as we look towards the future, and then what I see as some of the benefits that SMART brings to the community we serve. And then, of course, at the end, I think Suzanne will come up after me, and then I don't know if it'll be questions now or maybe answer questions together later. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so just a few things. I won't go through this whole list, but you know, when I first arrived here in late 2021, by 2022, we had done what we call some strategic planning. We did listening sessions with the public, and we looked at 4 strategic objectives: ridership, pathways, extensions, and freight. And we received a lot of feedback from folks, and these are mostly based on ridership, because that's been one of our primary focuses. But we received a ton of information. So if you look at this list up here, this isn't something that I came in and said, oh, this is what we need to do to make this agency better. No, these are all public driven. This is from the community, things that people told us that they needed from the SMART system to meet their needs. So I'll just highlight a few of these. Number one, we expanded our services. We're currently running 42 trips on weekdays, 16 trips on the weekends. Excuse me. We extended the 40% discount on fares. We're just $1.50 a zone. We improved our weekend connections to the Larkspur Ferry. That was one of the big things that I heard, is that people need to make those connections, not only during the week, but really on the weekends. And so that's something that we're very proud of. And then a big one, we launched a micro transit. Thank you. You never know. We launched a micro transit project at Larkspur and at the Santa Rosa Airport Station. This is a big deal. You notice it's the orange van over on the side. This service works similar to Uber and Lyft, right? So it's on an app. You can go in and schedule your ride, and it'll be there waiting on you at the train station, take you where you want to go in that area. Or you can simply just walk on, pay your fare, and go. But this is our attempt at really trying to improve that first and last mile connection. Number one, getting people to the airport. Number two, getting people over to the ferry. And this is something, this ridership on this particular service has just continued to grow. Last month was a record, the month before that was a record month. So this service is continuing to gain popularity. We extended the free fare pilot program for youth and seniors. This is huge. Our board made this decision in 2024, and I'm going to tell you something. When I went to the board, I told them, I said, hey, this is going to cost you $300,000 a year, but I think that you can increase ridership by probably 25%. And they said, 300 grand, 25% increase in ridership. We couldn't buy a marketing campaign for that. Let's do it. So we put it out there. What has happened though, ridership's up about 75 to 80%. And here's what happened. Almost immediately. Senior ridership went up 70% from what it was prior to this. And youth ridership went up 130%. And that number is continuing to grow. I know somebody mentioned this morning during introductions about kids going to school. But I had a board member reach out to me, I don't know, probably a couple of months ago. It was right whenever school started. He's like, hey, is Petaluma downtown the new school drop-off location? Because there's cars lined up, and so it's just become a really big deal. So we're carrying kids, and they're going both directions. We have Sonoma kids going to Marin, we have Marin kids coming to Sonoma, and vice versa. So it's been really, really good. And then a big part of our work, we completed construction and opened Petaluma North Station, Windsor Station, and 9 miles of new pathway. Just a quick announcement, we'll be doing ribbon cutting ceremonies for the pathway segments on both Saturday and Sunday. We'll be doing Petaluma North segment on Saturday and then the Royal Park segment on Sunday. So if you're available, I think they'll start at 10:30 a.m. Love to have you out there. So what's been the result of all this? What's been the result of all of these improvements over the last few years? Well, for the first time ever, SMART exceeded 1 million riders in FY25. And if you look at this, the reason we're so proud of this is, number one, you see the year-over-year growth of this continuous improvement. And we are, right now today, SMART has the highest ridership recovery rate in the Bay Area, and we're second in the nation among commuter rail agencies. The only one that we're behind is Fort Worth, but I can tell you with some of the information I'm going to show you, the way our ridership trends are going today, we're going to take our rightful place at number 1 in the next couple of months. Pathway use has also been very strong. We had over 1 million pathway users in FY25, and that the use of that with the new opening segments and things, that usership continues to increase. So as you would expect, if you have record ridership and you have record pathway use, you're going to have a record number of bikes on board. Believe it or not, SMART carried almost 147,000 bicycles in FY25. And I think we're going to exceed that in FY26 because, again, we're seeing a record number of bikes on board each week so far in FY26. So at this point, I've talked about the past. I want to kind of shift gears a little bit and talk about what's happening right now. So if you look at this chart, this adds FY26 as our monthly ridership. So if you look at what we had in FY25, we averaged a little over 94,000 riders a month. Right now, we only have, obviously don't have September data already, but with July and August, ridership are currently averaging 129,106 riders per month. So if you do the math on that, it's about another 37% increase, which is just absolutely incredible when you've seen the double-digit growth year over year. So what's next? Well, we'll be continuing our free fare for youth and seniors in FY26. The board passed that, I think, back in March. We'll have a full year of Petaluma North and Windsor ridership. We actually refer to Windsor, I'm not going to lie to you, we actually refer to Windsor since Windsor opened as the Windsor effect, because a lot of things have changed. Number one, ridership's gone up almost immediately, 600-700 riders a day instantly. So that's been huge. It's also changed some things. Petaluma downtown has always, by far, been the #1 station. That's no longer true. With the Windsor effect, Santa Rosa downtown is now the #1 station. So that's just incredible. So anyway, people are traveling all along, but really, the two stations that have probably been impacted the most with the opening of Windsor are Santa Rosa downtown and Santa Rosa North. So that's been very interesting to see those travel patterns. Also, I'll talk a little bit more about this in a future slide, but we will be implementing the mascot service expansion that's anticipated to happen in April of 26. And then, as Councilmember mentioned in his remarks, we're mobilizing construction on the Hillsburg extension. That project is 100% fully funded. The plan is not just to get to Hillsburg Station, but to get all the way to Lytton Springs Road. We believe we have enough funding to do that, so that is the plan. And we are anticipating, well, I should say this, our board awarded the contract at our September 17th board meeting, so that is rolling. You will see orange vests out in the area, but we are moving on that project, and we anticipate that we will be picking up passengers in Hillsburg by the end of 2028. We're also doing project development and seeking funding for construction to Cloverdale. And I know when I say that, people are like, oh, it's never going to happen, whatever. when I got here, people said, well, you're never gonna get to Windsor in my lifetime. Well, they don't say that anymore. Well, then they say, well, yeah, you're gonna get Windsor, but you're never gonna get to Hillsburg. Well, they're not saying that anymore. So we're gonna run the exact same play that we did with Hillsburg. While we were building Windsor, we were seeking funding to extend further north to Hillsburg. And we were able to pull that funding off. So essentially, we opened the station and we immediately went to work on the Hillsburg extension. So we're going to continue to run that same play. And you know, with a little luck, I think that we will be able to secure the funds and be able to continue to move to the north. And then we're also working on project development of the east-west rail corridor. This would connect Nevada to Sassoon. That's our current freight line that runs through there, but that is in the state rail plan as well as recognized federally in the FRA's corridor IP program. So, okay, just a little bit on the mascots. As you can see from all the logos up there, this was absolutely a coordinated effort of all of the transit agencies and funding agencies in Sonoma and Marin County, of really getting everybody to the table and talking about, okay, we haven't looked at this collectively in many, many years, especially since SMART started service. If we were one agency, how would we do regional service on the 101 corridor? So that's kind of the context of what this is all about. So it's a collaborative, comprehensive analysis of transit service on that 101 corridor. And really, you know, I think there's going to be future steps of this, but in this one, this was really focused on regional service of getting people in between Sonoma and Marin counties. And it was grounded in the post-pandemic travel behavior. We refer to that as the new normal. You know, people don't go into the office 5 days a week anymore. They're traveling 3 days. Travel times have changed. You know, used to people would go to work in the morning, they would come home in the afternoon. What's been so interesting, and going back to us adding, you know, some of those additional trips and service, when we were doing the listening session, one of the things that I heard from the public was, we need more midday service. And I know when I'm sitting there and I'm hearing that, and I'm taking notes and I'm writing it down, I'm thinking, we're commuter rail. We take people to work and we take them home, and they're asking for midday service. Guess what? Today, our peak is 2:23 in the afternoon. That is a big change of what we've seen in the past. And so people are traveling during midday. We added that midday service, and the community responded to it and highly utilized. So what were our goals? Number one, we wanted to increase ridership. We wanted to work as a one agency. And the big one, and this was from the very first meeting, we wanted to develop something that we could implement, something that we could actually do, not just a study that we would put on the shelf and be able to say that we did. We wanted something we could actually implement. So here's a summary of recommendations. The big ones are really between SMART and Golden Gate Transit 101. The big takeaway from this is what would happen if when implemented, is that they would truncate the Route 101 in Nevada, which means that they would not run the Route 101 in Sonoma County. And in return, we would increase service, SMART service to run more frequently and earlier and later in the day to fill in some of those windows. Southern Marin bus service, they would streamline routes between San Rafael, Marin City, Sausalito, and San Francisco. And then improve local bus connections to SMART in both Sonoma and Marin County. And then Golden Gate commute routes would combine into a single alignment to improve connections to SMART, to improve frequency and restrict San Francisco local transit to reduce travel time. And what that means, that's a mouthful. What that means is that right now today, Golden Gate Transit is making stops in the city and picking people up, and of course that extends the travel time, makes it less attractive, and so on these particular trips they would not do that. And then the Golden Gate Route 580 in San Rafael would follow the 5EX alignment through that area, and then the 580 and the 580X would continue to differ in the East Bay. Okay, so what does all this mean? The most important part about SMART. So what would happen is this SMART change if everything goes through as is and as planned today, Smart Service would increase by 19%. We would increase from 42 trips a day to 48 trips a day, so it'd be a 14% increase on weekdays. Span of service would go from 4 a.m. to 11:15 p.m. We would eliminate the midday maintenance window that we have and add service there. And then we would run consistent 32, 64-minute headways all day long. And then on the weekends, we would increase, and this is the big one, probably the one I'm most excited about, because if you've been on the Smart Train on the weekends, you know we're already busting at the seams on those 16 trips, so adding additional trips there is going to definitely help us. So we'd increase from 16 to 24 trips, that's a 50% increase in service on weekends, and span of service would go from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. at night, and then we would have that consistent frequency again of 64 to 96-minute headways. So, with all these things, with the things that we have in the pipeline, with things that we expect out of the mascot service, we are projecting that SMART will carry 1.4 million people in FY26. That's about a 37% increase, and I think it's like a 116%, or maybe what is that? Almost 100% increase over where we were pre-pandemic. If you read the newspapers, you know there's a lot of agencies out there struggling to get back to their pre-pandemic levels. So to be doubling that ridership just a few years later is something we were very, very proud of. So lots of good stuff happening. I've talked about all the good things, but there are still things that I think that we have to work on, that we have to improve, and really when it comes down to continuous improvement. I think at the end of the day, SMART's job is to ensure that its service meets the needs of the community. I tell my team all the time, whatever that means, whatever our community needs out of us, we need to consider it, we need to try to implement it. So I think we have to continue to improve our service. Things like more frequency, earlier and later span of service, making sure that we connect well to the local bus and to the ferry, and then more of that first and last mile type solutions. And then the big one, when I first got here, the big thing was when I would come and speak to groups like this, they told me about how the trains are empty, nobody's on it. I don't hear that anymore. The trains are packed, and I get more complaints now about trains being overcrowded. And so capacity is something that has really become at the forefront. So one of the things that we're doing right now today is we're going to do a test where we're going to remove one of the bar cars in the train to allow more areas for bicycles, and then we're also going to try to outfit some of them maybe with additional seating and see how that works. But right now today, our main focus is increasing capacity to make sure we can get everybody on board. And at the end of the day, we have to continue to improve public perception. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm very happy with the improvement that we've seen over the past few years with public perception, but I always know that that could be better and we can always improve, so we're focused on that. And why? Because the elephant in the room for us is that Measure Q sales tax expires in 2029, and that's a big one. And Suzanne's going to talk more about that, but there is a citizens initiative that is currently underway. In order to do that, they have to have 48,800 signatures. They're targeting the 2026 election and would require 50% plus one to pass versus the traditional 2/3 if the SMART Board of Directors were to put it on the ballot. So she can advocate, I can't, right? My attorneys are like, oh, yeah, you can't do it, right? But I can educate, and I can tell you what are the things that I feel like the Smart Train brings to the community. And I want to share just a few of them. Number one, SMART's on a roll. We have record utilization. As I mentioned, we had 1.1 million passengers and facilitated over 1 million pathway trips, and that's continuing to grow. As I mentioned previously, we're anticipating in FY26 that we will have 1.4 million riders and 1.2 million pathway users. I think we're an alternative to congested roads. I'm never going to stand in front of you and say that SMART is going to eliminate traffic on Highway 101. You're never going to hear me say that. But if you look at the numbers, the bottom line is that we took 920,000 cars off the road in FY25, and that resulted in 23 million passenger miles off of Highway 101. We support livable communities, provides access to opportunity. That's something I talk to my team about a lot, is because I think that's one of the main things that SMART does, is provides access to opportunity. And 31% of our riders have a household income of less than $60,000. We've helped communities with over $97 million in affordable housing and sustainable community grants since 2017. Retail space in SMART station areas generated $5.3 billion in 2023. And what that means is and then we doubled the community's investment, bringing in $735 million. I was talking to someone before earlier, and they're saying, man, you guys are really bringing in the money. But it's amazing. It's amazing that we've more than doubled the community's investment. I mean, whatever we've brought in, every dollar that we've brought in Measure Q of our sales tax, we've brought in an additional $1.20 in outside dollars, whether that be state or federal grants. And then the most important part about this, of all this money that's coming in and circulating, 75% of SMART's expenditures stay in the local economy. And then we provide sustainability and health benefits. SMART riders emit 44% less greenhouse gas emissions compared to driving. And our pathway provides safe, separated facility to walk and bike. And believe it or not, people log about 6,200 miles a day on our pathway, which is really an amazing stat. So with that, I would be happy to either answer questions or turn it over to Suzanne. Which do we prefer?
A few questions from now.
Okay, great.
All right, so if you have a question directed about this presentation, please just raise your hand, I'll walk the mic over. Perfect. Howard, and then we'll come over here.
Wake up.
I read something in the Press Democrat, and I'm just looking for clarification. Is the extension to Healdsburg going to require a new bridge be built? If it does, can that be done in your time frame?
In the time frame?
Or your projected time frame?
Yes.
In reaching Healdsburg?
Yes, we anticipate all of that is going to happen. We are planning at this point to replace the bridge. And we are working through it. Like I said, we just got the contractor on board in September, so those conversations are happening now. One of the things that they'll be telling us is kind of what their timeline is to do that. I don't know quite yet if that's going to construction or demolition on the bridge is going to start in summer of 26 or if that'll be summer of 27. That's a conversation that has to be had, but they are currently working on that today. But we do anticipate that we would probably remove the bridge one summer and put it back the next. So whether that's 26 and 27 or 27, 28, I would prefer to do it in 26 if we can. I'd like to push that because, you know, we got to get that part done. So that's the plan, but, you know, we'll see. There, you know, you have to go through permitting, all those things. There could be a lot of hiccups along the way, but there is a relatively short window. You have like between June and October to be able to get in there to do work. So we're going to have to work around that. Thank you.
I'm next. Hi, Eddie.
Hey.
I love seeing all the stats about the ridership and the communities. What I keep thinking about that I'm not seeing in your presentation is what about the people who work for your agency? How many jobs is this going to create? I'm also interested in things like when you are advertising and hiring for all the people you need to run this, are you getting enough applicants? Is there a local demand for the jobs, or are people have to come in from out of the area to fill your needs?
Yeah, great question. So we currently have about 170 employees that run the service that we have today. We are actively recruiting for this service that we are talking about that's in April. So we're working on getting those folks on board today. I think that's another 10 to 12 employees that we'll be bringing in. Here's the thing, this has been absolutely incredible because when we put out an advertisement for a position, we're getting 60 to 70 applicants. So we're getting a really, really good response. It's been very competitive, but there's a lot of people who want to work at SMART, which is awesome to see and hear because it means that we're doing the right things and people Yeah, but thank you, appreciate that question.
Hi, first excited that you're coming to Guilford, but one question, I think this ties in, it might be a question for next, but related to the increase in ridership based on no charge for seniors and students, have you modeled out if you're gonna ever start charging for that, what the impacts on ridership would be? Like, how many people are riding for this is free versus paying $1 or $2 to try to help with the revenue side?
Yeah, so right now today, about 40% of our ridership overall is riding for free, essentially, with seniors and youth. I think that's going to be a decision the board's going to have to make. But what's going to make it tough on them is the revenue has not gone down. It's actually gone up. So at the same time that ridership has gone up with obviously senior and youth, adult ridership has been climbing at an alarming rate as well. And so overall, if you look at how much we pulled in farebox in 2024, compared, I think it was up about 5 to 6% in FY25, and then projecting out what we're seeing right now, we're projecting probably about another 10 to 12% increase in FY26. And so revenues are continuing to grow, and this is anecdotal, but it's been very interesting, right? If you ride the train on a Saturday or Sunday especially, a lot of times you will see mom and dad with grandkid or their kid, and then grandma and grandpa with them. And so there's a lot of that that's going on, I think, that has increased our ridership overall. So it's not just grandma and grandpa and the kids riding, mom and dad are coming along as well. So overall, we're seeing an increase across the board. So it's going to be a tough decision for the board because it's been very, very popular. Listen, you guys know as well as I do, most of the seniors that I talked to, and I told the board this whenever I proposed it, I said, hey, listen, it's very rare that I run into a senior that says, I can't ride smart because I can't afford it. We live in a pretty affluent community. Most of our seniors can afford $1.50 a zone. What I heard was, I don't want to use your technology. I don't want to tap on anything. I don't want to tap off. I don't want to log in on anything. And dear God, please do not make me download an app. I personally don't think that the cost was a barrier to seniors. I think it was more of just not wanting to use the technology. But again, it speaks for itself. Ridership went up 70% when you tell them they don't have to tap on anything anymore. That's incredible. So it's going to be a tough decision for the board. And then with the students, you know what? I personally, I'll tell you right now what I will suggest to the board. Seniors, I think that's a decision point they need to make. Students, I think that's an investment in our future. I think helping out mom and dad to get kids to school, the number of cars the road in the morning and they're idling and sitting in line to drop off at school, I think that this is a huge help. So from where I stand today, I will be encouraging the board to at least extend and keep the free use. And what's going to happen, these kids are learning how to use transit today. They're going to keep doing it whenever they go to college, and they're going to keep doing it whenever they move into the business world. So I think that's an investment for the future.
Roy Martinez, Exit Strategy Group. You talk about technology and students. I'm the one that mentioned that my son was taking SMART to school. They're actually going to a NOVA, and one of his goals, personal goals from NOVA, is to learn how to use a bus schedule. And now he has learned how to use a train schedule, which is pretty awesome. But my question is, so I took a train from Petaluma to Santa Rosa on Thursday and Friday to go to the California Association of Business Brokers convention or conference. And once again, I got on the train and there was no Wi-Fi. What is the status of Wi-Fi and electrification?
Yeah, good question. So Wi-Fi is on the list of things we need to do. It's one of our priorities. It just hasn't come to the top of the list yet. The bottom line is this: when SMART shut off its shut off the Wi-Fi during COVID to save a few bucks, right? The technology was obsolete at that time and the support for it went away. So the investment is you have to do the whole thing. You have to buy all new everything to make that work. And so it's a substantial investment. Our board has made the decision at this point to invest our additional dollars in improving the service versus doing that. But like I said, that's on the list of things that we want to do in the future. And then tell me your second question.
Electrification.
Oh, electrification. So our trains are Tier 4 diesel engines today. They are the cleanest diesel technology that you have out there, but our board is absolutely interested in electrifying in the future. That'll be a few years out. Obviously, the vehicles that we have do have a life expectancy, but that's something that we are working on now. And I think if we get to the point to where we bring in some additional train sets to support what we have today, I think we would look at zero emission technology. I think what's going to be interesting is what is going to be the right technology, right? I don't think overhead wires, like Caltrain did, is the right thing for our area. So then it leaves you with two choices. Do you do battery or do you do hydrogen? I was talking to a train manufacturer at a conference a while back, and I asked him, what do you think is going to happen here? And he said, well, based on what I'm seeing and the way that I see the industry going, I think that it's going to be battery for lines that are 40 miles or less, and it's going to be hydrogen for lines that are over 40 miles. So looking at our alignment, what our future plans are, that would lead you to believe that we would be looking at hydrogen technology. But I think as batteries and charging infrastructure continues to improve, I don't think in a few years the batteries will be completely off the table. So we're watching that technology, and we do have plans in the future of going zero emission.
All right, thank you, Eddie. Can we get a round of applause for Eddie? All right, I'm going to invite Suzanne up to the stage. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of this presentation. This is the part where I get to advocate as opposed to just provide information, but I'm going to provide a little information as well. So again, I'm Suzanne Smith. I'm the chair of the SMART initiative. It's a voter-led initiative to make sure that we have SMART going into the future. So the team that kind of formed around this includes myself, Joanne Webster from the North Bay Leadership Council, and Mike Pickens, who was here earlier from, there he is back there, from Operating Engineers. And then we have our professional consulting team of Debbie Mazzotti and Leo Buck. So why renew? I think we've already covered that, right? We have this incredible asset. We have this incredible asset that has been built in our community and is going to continue to expand. We need to protect it, maintain it, and ensure it's there, that it's there for the future. So what is a voter-led initiative and why are we pursuing this as an option? So I think we've all seen people collecting signatures on petitions out in front of the grocery store or out in the lobby today. And it's really, truly direct democracy. It is asking the community, are you willing to sign this so we can place a measure on the ballot and ask voters if they're willing to support it? And the important aspect of that for this in particular is that it lowers the threshold of the vote requirement from 2/3 to a simple majority. So it's in the past, we've done a number of measures in this county that the Sonoma County Alliance has been hugely integral in developing and supporting, whether it was the transportation tax measure in or the more recent renewal, the smart tax, infrastructure measures that take 2/3 vote are very challenging to pass. They can be expensive. We failed 4 times on the transportation side before we were successful. But asking voters, asking the community whether they want to be willing to put it on the ballot for voters is what the voter-led initiative, or citizens initiative, allows us to do, and then allows us to have that reduced threshold. I covered that. Well, it is in a lot of ways, it's a different model for how you run a campaign, but it's also, I think, a little bit more cost efficient. And that's important because honestly, I'm out there asking people like you, some of you in this room have already been generous donors, asking you to contribute to help ensure we have this project going forward. And so I want to be prudent with those dollars, right? I don't want to I don't want to spend a bunch on media if we don't have to. But we also have to win. So it's that balancing act, and the voter-led initiative allows us to be more efficient in that effort. And I do want to kind of take this moment to thank those of you in the room who have contributed, and to ask those of you who maybe have not yet, to really consider that donation and what it means to jobs in this county, the ripple effect it has. I mean, there are a number of people in this room who get direct jobs from this, right? Whether it's consultants, designers, engineers, contractors, but there's also the ripple effect of the tax dollars will be spent here. They're not going to be spent somewhere else. And that means that our restaurants, the housing market, all of that benefits from this measure. So here's our schedule. We are targeting the June 2026 election. We had our public launch of the committee and the campaign in June of this year. Signature gathering started Labor Day weekend. We want to submit those, so the process is you gather signatures, you submit them all at once to the registrar of voters. They then will verify that you've hit your target number that you need to hit, and that number is 10% of registered voters in the 2 counties. And you don't have to do it by county, it's combined, it's a single district. So then we learned from the registrar, hopefully in January, that we qualified, and then we're on the ballot, excuse me, in June. So far, we're doing okay. It's going well. That is the really good news. We've had some very generous donors. We've had a lot of just members in the community who have donated, and we've raised over $700,000. Our budget is right around $750,000 for this phase of the effort. The text has been finalized. That's what's in the petition. We filed everything. We've done all the procedural steps that are necessary. And we, as of yesterday, we got the numbers and we've collected right around 40,000 signatures. So we're about halfway. We've gotten a lot of support from our elected officials in the 2 counties, as well as a number of organizations, including this one. And this organization, your Political Action Committee, has also provided a generous contribution. It's not easy. Gathering signatures is definitely a level of effort, so that is the challenge. We had an event last night, so we've almost achieved our fundraising goal. That number's gone down after last night, but we do still have work to do. And frankly, once we do qualify, there's a second phase to the campaign. There are opportunities to get involved. As I mentioned, we welcome financial contributions. The Smart Initiative is our website, .org. You can volunteer to gather signatures between now and the end of October. You can host a fundraiser or house party. Just get out there and talk to your neighbors about how important SMART is to the community. But there is definitely opportunity, and we would welcome your involvement. With that, one other quick recognition. I want to acknowledge the Friends of SMART. We have a couple of folks here today, Danny, Steve. They are doing a great job, especially with the volunteers and getting signature gathering from the community, sort of just getting folks out there, and it's been super helpful, so thank you to you. Gladly take some questions.
We all feel really educated about the smart train. All right, I think Dan, you have the petitions out there. Fabulous, if you want to sign it, they're out there, Danny can help you do that.
If there's anybody in this room who has not signed it, this is your opportunity. We've had really good response from this group, and we really appreciate it. But if you haven't, now's your chance.
All right, we got a question we can hear.
What's it take to qualify to be a signature gatherer? Can I just get some forms and carry them around with me and sign people up, or do I have to be certified somehow?
You don't have to be certified. You can volunteer to take a petition or two and get your friends and neighbors to sign. There's an affidavit on the back that you have to sign that you collected those signatures, and then you turn it back in. Jenny Rosati here can help you out with that, or Dean.
And is there an online place they could send people as well?
So there's no opportunity to sign online, but if you go to our website, there is a link to volunteer.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, I appreciate it.
I know.
I'm right here.
Are you tired?
No, I was getting a list.
Oh, all right. I'll send it back to Ryan then.
Hey Eddie, was that the first time you ever had to speak during a light show? Okay, we have a couple of things to close out the meeting. First of all, I want to say one of our best friends of this organization is the North Coast Builders Exchange, not Business Exchange. Lisa, thank you for being such a good loyal partner and friend to us. Secondly, I want to thank Mick Menendez for partnering with us as a sponsor for our event from Pacific Advisors. We really appreciate that donation. And before I wrap up, I personally want to thank Eddie and Suzanne again. Thank you guys so much for your time. Let's give them a little bit of love. One last time. We do have some elected officials in the room, and we all know that that is heroes work. That is hard work to do. So I want to thank Sonoma County Sheriff Eddie Ingram, Eva Marie Proto, our clerk, recorder, and assessor, David Hagley, our council member, City of Healdsburg, Andres Marquez, council member, City of Cloverdale, Todd Lands, council member, City of Cloverdale, and our mayor, Mark Stapp from Santa Rosa. Thank you guys. Let's give them a little love. Two last things, actually three last things. So November 5th is our next membership meeting. We have our city municipal forum. We are working very diligently as a program committee and organization to get all of the city managers or a representative from each to come out and give us a state of their city. I think it's going to be a really interesting topic. We'll have a little bit of time for Q&A at the end. I think you would be remiss to miss it. The next day, November 6th, you guys, I am pushing this party because it's going to be a lot of fun, and this is a one-time chance to celebrate our 50 years together. It's a great opportunity to be together. It's a great opportunity to hear the story of the Alliance and what we've done over 50 years. It's very fun that we're going to have our executive directors from years past walk us through the eras of the county and Alliance. What's that? What do you have?
Lisa, what was the date? October 16th. The SCA PAC has had a legislative reception for years, and this year we've kind of been off, actually since COVID, but this year we're bringing back the legislative reception. It's at Boleto on the 16th, 5:30 to 7, and everyone's welcome. And it's literally just I won't say cocktail hour, a wine tasting hour with a number of electives. Right now, about half the room's full of local elected officials. So it's just a great time to mingle. Thank the electeds for, doing what they do and for joining us in a more casual atmosphere. So the 16th, Paletta Winery, 5:30. Everyone's welcome. There's a small gate entry, but it'll be well worth your time. Thank you. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you, Brian.
All the consortium, which is the business organizations that have all got together, the realtors, I'm going to forget half of the realtors, the chamber, the alliance, North NCBE, we all put together to support this event. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. And Ty, will you put that in the newsletter so that it's also kind of memorialized in there? Wonderful. So November 5th, be here or be square. November 6th, party with us at Sally Tomatoes in Verona Park. And if you have found this conversation important, if you appreciate the idea of partnering with an organization that is business advocacy related, we would love for you to sign up and be a part of our family, right? Don't just keep coming, become a part of the family. So with that, I wish you guys all a wonderful week and thank you for being here.